Hi, this is Ed Keeter from Keeter Consulting. I'm a self-employed small business consultant located in Grand Rapids, Michigan. If this video podcast catches your attention, there is a ton of additional information, including many more podcasts and my blog at my website, www.keeterconsulting.com. For a little over a year now, I've been a participant and occasional presenter at Focus Plus, a support group for adults with ADHD or attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. When the other group members learned what I do for a living, a few of them have asked me questions about how realistic it might be to pursue self-employment either because of or despite their ADHD. I love talking about this topic, and every person's circumstances are unique, but I thought a brief video podcast covering some of the basic issues of consideration might be helpful, so here it is. One of the areas of life that ADHD can have a significant and frequently negative impact on people is in the world of work. The simple fact is that most jobs and employers place great importance on the ability to sustain focus, demonstrate attention to detail, and follow complex processes accurately. Pretty much the very things that those of us with ADHD tend to struggle with more than the rest of the world. At the same time, the positive attributes we bring to our jobs, such as energy, creativity, and a desire for variety in our work, are often of little importance to employers and sometimes are even considered drawbacks. Not surprisingly, many people with ADHD seriously consider starting their own businesses at some point. Self-employment can provide opportunities to design a job or career that shifts more of the focus of your work from the areas of weakness to their areas of strength. That's where I come in. I'm a self-employed consultant with ADHD, and the consulting work I do centers around helping other people, frequently people with ADHD themselves, to determine if self-employment is a good option for them, and then planning the best way to make it happen. From an ADHD perspective, here's the breakdown on self-employment. First, the pros, the positives. Operating your own business provides a great deal of variety in terms of the work that you do on a day-to-day basis. Selling, production, bookkeeping, planning, managing employees, ordering materials or inventory, and so on. Running your own business requires a high level of energy and creativity. Usually if you need something, it's your job to find it or invent it. Self-employment usually provides greater flexibility in terms of where, when, and how you do your job. For example, if you're mentally sharpest between 6 a.m. and 10 a.m., you can structure your day so that the focus, concentration, detail aspects of your job are mainly handled during that time of day. Self-employment lets you carve your job to a certain extent, transferring parts of the job that you may not do as well, like record keeping for instance, to someone else. Self-employment lets you pursue your passion to earn your paycheck, and people with ADHD tend to do their best work when focusing on something that genuinely excites them. Next we have the cons, the drawbacks. Ultimately, every aspect of operating the business still must be accomplished. Sure, you can hire somebody to do your bookkeeping, but first, that reduces your control over your business, and next, the expense of hiring someone to do that will come out of your company's profits, which means it comes directly out of your paycheck. Being self-employed usually means having a very unstructured, unsupervised day. It can be very challenging to a person with ADHD to maintain the discipline to avoid procrastination and to make sure they're addressing the work that's the highest priority instead of the most interesting, enjoyable tasks. Again, lastly, self-employment is inherently risky and involves a lot of uncertainty. Work volumes can vary greatly, and your income stream can be highly unpredictable. Still interested in being your own boss? Here are some good steps to get you started. First, know yourself. What products, industry, services, or customers do you already really know well? Starting a small business is absolutely the worst time possible for on-the-job training. In addition to possessing expertise and experience, are you genuinely passionate about the product or service you're considering providing? Again, that passion will be important to help you maintain the focus and energy level you'll need to do your job well. It's also a critical component in being able to sell your products and services to your customers. Know your tolerance for risk. Can you or your family handle the consequences if the business starts off more slowly than expected, or if you need to walk away from it at some point for unanticipated reasons? In my own case, having a spouse with a decent and stable income from her job, not to mention health insurance, made it much easier to take a chance on starting my own business. Similarly, my startup costs were very low. I basically needed a cell phone, a computer, and some business cards to get started, and not a whole lot else. So I didn't have to worry about being saddled with a big loan to pay off if the business wasn't sufficiently profitable. Next, know your customers. "If you build it, they will come" may have been a great line in the movie Field of Dreams, but it's a lousy philosophy when you're planning a new business. Keep this thought in mind. Human civilization has somehow managed to get by so far for about 10,000 years without your business. Clearly, they've already found ways of adequately meeting their needs. You'll need to find some new way to provide your product or service that's better, faster, cheaper, easier, more reliable, or more fun than the way that they're used to. Determine who your most likely consumers will be for your goods or services, and how many of these customers there are, as well as what their current buying habits are. And by that I mean what we're going to need to do to get them to switch from their current provider to buying from you. Now this is important. Don't base your research on gut instincts or just your personal observations. Find other independent sources to verify or challenge and expand upon your own knowledge. Census data, customer surveys, online demographic databases, and industry research can help with this. Next, know your competitors. You need to know this to make sure there aren't one or more competitors out there who will consistently beat you every time you compete with them for a sale. Conversely, only by knowing your competition can you identify some or undermet market segment that you can exploit more effectively than the other guy. Mazda did this when they invented the original Miata. They realized there was a market to sell about 20,000 of the small, inexpensive convertibles annually. Their larger competitors like Ford and GM simply couldn't sell such a high-quality, low-priced car in such small quantities at a sufficient profit level. Next, determine how you'll handle all aspects of the business. Can you handle your own bookkeeping, accounts payable and receivable, production, shipping, employee management, research and development, marketing, sales, and so on? If not, will you hire other workers to take on some of these tasks? Or are there other vendors, like using ADP to handle payroll, that you can contract? The next step is to run the numbers. Figure out what your startup costs will be. What goods and services will you need to get started? And don't forget about expenses like payroll, broadband internet, travel, utilities, and such that you'll incur on day one, even though you may not start receiving payments from your customers for 30, 60, 90 days or longer, depending on the nature of your business. Make conservative estimates regarding how much revenue you'll expect to make over that first year and what your operating costs will be. Keep in mind that it may take several months to build up your customer base to what you anticipate will be a normal sales volume for you. Finally, get a mentor. Now, this is good advice for any entrepreneur, but doubly so for a business person with ADHD. Find an experienced person that you can trust and run ideas past before making big decisions regarding your business. This helps with finding creative solutions and minimizing the chances of making ill-considered impulse decisions, another trademark of those of us with ADHD. The good news is that there are numerous free or low-cost resources available to help you think through your small business idea, including SCORE, the Service Corps of Retired Executives, the Michigan Business One-Stop website at www.michigan.gov/business, and the CMU LaBelle Entrepreneurial Center at Central Michigan University. If your needs go beyond what these resources can provide, there are also several consulting services, such as my own, Keeter Consulting, that can be brought in as well. I'd love to hear your thoughts about this podcast. Please contact me at ed@keeterconsulting.com or through my website, www.keeterconsulting.com. Thanks for watching, and best of luck with your own small business adventure.